Yay, we are on the third Friday of the month. We are in November and it is Choice Week. And my choice topic was to really connect the grahas, the planets that we have that we're working with in Vedic astrology, and the prana, the pranayama practices. I taught a class on this, and we're in the midst of a 21-day class right now. And it has just been astounding to me to further my connection with the grahas and the planets. I began writing a book about the different grahas planets, gosh, probably about 7, 8 months ago. And I kind of had it on the back burner. It was really more of my notes, but the grahas and planets literally started talking to me. Certain days of the week, things would come up and I started to kind of see that. And I thought, okay, it's getting my attention. It needs to happen now. And then as love and coincidence would happen to have, Jennifer, who's in our group, and I got into a conversation somehow, some way, and me understanding more of what she was doing, she's actually helping me write this book and bring it to life. So all summer long while I was in the island, and now especially this fall, Jennifer and I have been working on this, and even more the grahas are popping up and talking to me. And the breath has always been one of my favorite things, breath and mantra, because those are free, they're accessible, they're ancient, they're proven, and they literally cellularly can connect you to different ambiances, different states of consciousness. And so when I'm looking at connecting with a planet, when I see what the energetics are of it, it's amazing at how you can literally connect with Saturn, literally connect with Mars, literally connect with the sun. So when you see a debilitation in your chart or you're feeling a debilitation in you, once you become familiar with what each planet is giving you, instantly it's accessing not just a mantra, but now a physical presence of your breath, which is phenomenal, as we know. So I'm going to pop in and start talking first about the now chart of what's happening. And then I'll show you how we would walk through and look at somebody's chart. And then I'll bring up those of you who want to know how we would look at the pranic patterns of a person with that. Let's see, share. So if I'm in Seminole, Florida right now, just outside of Tampa, I cast this chart 1 minute before we began our class to November 21st at 11:59 Eastern time. This would be this person's chart for life. And then, of course, we look at transits to see what's happening. Now, I put you all on mute. Go ahead and take yourself off mute. If you can notice, a few of you, like, what do you immediately notice when you see? We've talked enough where, um, first of all, tell me what the ascendant is, and then tell me if you notice anything particular immediately about this chart based on how we've talked about charts. And while I'm waiting for somebody to hot seat in, I'm going to pull up some other charts. Give me a thumbs up if I have permission to use your chart. Okay. Thank you. I just need that verbal cue. So what do you first notice about it? I know, go ahead.
What I'm noticing here is all the planets on the eighth house there.
Mhm.
Their
And the,
ascendant is actually there in the seventh house.
okay, you're saying eighth house. Remember our houses are here, house one, house two,
Oh,
house
okay.
three. So seventh house, this is eighth house.
Okay, so yeah. So what I'm noticing is that the moon is there in their eighth house, but
Yes.
then nine, ten, in their 11th house is all those other planets. That
Yeah.
that gets my attention.
Yes, absolutely. And when we notice a stacking of planets in one particular house, we call that a stellium. That's where somebody who is a Libra ascendant, that's what number 7 means for the first house. Libra ascendant, they have K2 on their ascendant. So we know that there was some sort of birth trauma, and it could have been simply, oh, at the last minute we did a C-section. Oh, at the last minute she was induced, or at the last minute they just like, something happened and they were up on a car ride and they had to come immediately to the hospital. So it doesn't mean emergency, but there was some sort of a birth trauma that forced that birth then, because people will often say, well, what if it is a cesarean? Is it still their true birth time? Medical is taking them out. No, because The soul on the other side is always in command of when they come through, always in command. They know, it knows, universe knows exactly when you will be born for you to step into this Vimshotri of time. You need to step in at that time and everything needs to be aligned for that to happen. It's like the launch has to be prepared for the rocket to go, and there aren't any coincidences about whether things were in play. You had to put that in play for it to happen. So stellium is here. That means as a Libra ascendant, this person may actually relate more as being a Leo rather than a Libra because they have so much energy there that that can kind of take over their personification, especially when you're talking about Sun, identity, Mercury, how they speak, Venus, how they love and express themselves in beauty. Those are some strong personality characteristics to all have in Leo for a Libra ascendant, which will feel a bit like an oxymoron to them because the Libra ascendant wants to make everybody else happy, but three powerful planets in Leo wants to make itself happy. So there'll be that sensation of things will happen in life to bring that about. Now, anything else anybody wants to say about the chart that they noticed? Welcome. Thanks. I'm glad. Oh, where'd Franny? She was in. Is she still here? Yes. Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning. Um, I'd cast a now chart for where I am, and that was here. And then we had, oh, we were talking about Jennifer's chart when I just pulled that up. But this was actually the same thing here. And Jennifer, we've talked about that. When Jennifer was born, she was a Libra ascendant. And when I shared with her all of the planets that she had in Leo, there was at first kind of like a step back about, I don't like that because her association, especially in the West, is Leos are selfish and they come in and they want to take over everything and they're bossy and that's the unrefined Leo. If you really think about the definition of a truly powerful king or queen, the reason why they're powerful is because they love their people so much to be their people, though, that their people are able to reflect back whatever they do in the world. They don't have to command or power anything. They get to allow the space that their people are in because everybody is doing their own set job. And so when you use that energy, again, if she were to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm totally getting in my head, she would use that energy of Leo, the sun, as a breath practice to either calm it down or to activate it. If she was feeling that she wanted to improve her service level and connect with the connection, the discipline of Saturn, she would look at the energy of what the planet can do in the house of Pisces in her sixth house to be in more service. If she's sick and tired of being in service and serving everybody else and putting herself to a disciplined matter on the back burner, then she would activate something else, maybe her Mars energy, maybe her moon energy to activate that element. Again, it's an element. These are remedies. These are tools like using a mala, like using a crystal. You're connecting with that vibration and then it immediately shifts. I love gemstones and I love mantra. In my personal experience, and I want you to have your own, breathwork changes it faster. Breathwork changes it instantly, whereas a mantra or a gemstone is more of a vibration and it can be a little more subtle approach. So today's choice week, if you popped on later, sorry, I forgot to remind, is we're taking the planetary influences of people's charts and looking at what would you cast for a breath remedy. And because I taught that class or in the middle of the 21 day, it's now become my new jam and I'm completely obsessed with how quickly you can connect with the planets. And again, it's always been at my fingertips, but I've never quite put it together this way. So I'm going to continue to pull up charts.
Can
I'm
I
going to pause.
ask can I ask
Yeah.
a question here? Because you said you were talking about grahas, and what I noticed on that chart, on my chart, was Mars and Jupiter are in the 10th house, and to me those sound like the little that I've learned about planets. They're really like go get them, go do this, and 10th house is I think career.
Yes. Oh, you are good. Ding, ding, ding. She's getting all these gold stars right now. Jennifer's
So
been saying,
how does that relate to breath work? Like I'm curious. Because like I'm
so,
really in like
yep.
I'm in that right now. I've got like all this stuff with work and I'm like, what should I be doing? And I should show up for the 21 day, but I've been on vacation. My apologies.
You'll show up for it when it's right for you. And that's why you, as all of you, when you're in mentorship with me, you have a lot on your plate and you're all creating things, you're creating curriculum. So that's why automatically you get it, because I know that you're disciplined enough that at the right time you'll step into this, and it's a timeless course that you can come back to. So I don't ever want any of you who are in the mentorship to be overwhelmed. I want you to always have the benefit of it. And even when your mentorship time ends, you'll always still have access to it. So you can go back at any time. Not that I'm downplaying the importance of it right now. Sometimes it just fits in perfectly to what you're doing, and sometimes not so much. So at the end of today, those of you who are in mentorship who have not started it, you might be inspired to do so when you see how connective and simple and easy it is. But again, at your own time. So we've got Josephina's chart here. Again, what do we notice right out of the gate?
Oh, I noticed I'm stacking all the pieces over here in house number 8.
Yep.
Mars and Mercury and what's that? Saturn and Jupiter
Yeah.
and Jupiter, and think that's all I can tell you.
Well, so she's in Jupiter right here. Got Jupiter right here. But if we look at her cycle of time right now that she's in, Jupiter. Where's Mars? Right there. Saturn is her third layer, and that's in her 12th house. So that tells me this house is extremely active with what's going on. She's refining the nervous system while taking action from a big, expansive perspective. And eighth house is what I call sudden and shocking events. And it can be, I won the lotto. It could be, I just got sued for $5 million. They both have equal energies where it depends on what's going on around you and to some degree what work, so to speak, you've done leading into it. I think it's been kind of fun for Josephina, and she can jump in herself. But there have been some sudden and shocking opportunities for her where she thought she was taking a business that was kind of something fun on the side and a hobby. And all of a sudden it's getting really, really big and she's having a whole lot of fun. It's also where we can inherit money. And that doesn't mean inherit from random uncle. It could be all of a sudden a new business idea that gets made, or all of a sudden a new contract that. So there's an inheritance of your um, your deserving power. Um, Jennifer, when she was going through something and something happened with a family member, and then she actually got a physical inheritance, we saw energy moving right through her eighth house at that time. When my father passed and I was given a chunk of money, same thing. Also, when I was in a situation with another company and we almost went to court, something passed through the eighth house. So we don't judge it as good or bad, but when you see that happening, that person is going to deal with a lot of emotional situations, and they've got to learn how to balance their emotions immediately. And that I'm speaking again for Josephina. She has created such a world of education and meditation and oils now, and what she's done because she was quote unquote forced to, because the nervous system was going to go pow, and she learned how to just absolutely put it in a container and make it work for her. That's been your life's work. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm? Yep.
Josephina, yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Mars,
yeah.
action. Mercury, communication. Sun, identity. Jupiter, big ideas.
I like Jupiter.
Yep, 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 yep. All right, so any other, I've got everybody up here so far. I've got, oh, John, where is your chart? That's the last one I want to pull up. Ask me any more questions that you've got here before we go on, and I'm going to pull into the breath work and show you how to line up the body. But for where we're at, anything? Mhm.
Selma, after you do John's, can you do mine?
Yes, didn't I have yours? Oh, thank you.
I think it's under the J's.
Oh, there you go, bro. And Denise. Denise is under Shad. All right. So Denise's, we notice a moderate stellium here. And she's got a lot of other planetary expansion. So that means when you have the moon going through, she's going to have more sensitive points on a regular basis than Josephine is going to have, where it's here, it's here, it's here, it's the moon. And all of a sudden, pow, 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 pow. Here, 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 here. So everybody is dependent. I need to shut the door. Everybody is different based on what their natal chart is. And there is no better or worse. There's just different. Let's see. Franny. So, for example, if I were to create that same thing for this is where breath work is going to be important, because you can use the moon and calm the nervous system. But as things get moving along, once the moon hits her sixth house, moon on top of the moon on top of where Ketu natally was, then it's going to hit Venus, then it's going to hit Saturn and Mercury, then it's going to hit the sun. Going to be a moment, then it's got Mars and Jupiter, then it's going to come into Rahu. It can feel like the never-ending street when you have planets throughout. Or again, you can be in a situation where it can feel like things are relatively simplified, and then all of a sudden you have a catalyst of emotions that happen. So knowing your own chart, knowing where your sensitive points are will be one to know which breath work to do. And when all comes down to it and you don't know, we pick the day of the week. So as I've shared with you, Sunday is the sun, Monday is the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, Saturday is Saturn. Any questions about that? I'm going to pull up a breath practice and show you a fun little document that's in the back of the classroom for this class that you have to ask me for if you once you want to get into it. If you're in the mentorship program, so I'll get to that in a second. Here we go. Stop share and reshare. Each graha, so graha and planet are the same word. And we use the word graha because in Sanskrit it literally means grab. And when you think of grab, it's to take hold of, to tell you something. If we're walking down someplace and all of a sudden I stop and I gently, lovingly grab onto your shoulders and I look at you, you're going to listen to me differently than if we're just talking, walking, doing our own thing. So when the planet comes in to grab you, again, use the literal term of graha, not grab, but it's getting a hold of you, looking you in the eye, trying to communicate something to you in a lesson. And as we know, the universe is extremely patient. There's no urgency. When the mind is ready, the lesson, the teacher appears, and all is fine. But when you're trying to, in your own conscious form, because we all have free will, so you can press the gas pedal to your own awakening with mantra, with movement, with healthy foods, with good water, with strong, powerful conversations. But the planet and the breath are like instantaneous. So sun, we've talked in yoga about the 5 values, and you have the different elements of the circulatory system. It's what you're taking in, it's what you're excreting, it's what's circling around, it's what's creating digestion. These are 5 values. I don't want to get into that outside of the scope of this class, but maybe Franny can help me co-teach one of them sometime because it's kind of fun to go back through it. It's a good review. But you have the prana value, you have the uddiyana value, the samana value, the vyana value, and the apana value. And those are the different ways that we circulate energy, taking it in, taking it out, speaking it, extracting it. And specifically, each planet will connect with one of the values. In the 21-day course, we're only working with 3 planets. We began with Saturn, it was a grounded energy, and now we're into the sun, which is the identity, and then our 3rd planet is going to be Jupiter and the expansive element. So I'm not going to talk about any of those 3 planets today. I really wanted to focus on Venus because today is Friday, and we have our classes on Friday. And Friday is such a beautiful day to revamp, reevaluate all things that make you feel good. Venus is putting the rose-colored glasses on that we are just, We really have got to take time to do that as humans, especially when you're on the spiritual path, because you've got this to-do list of mantras and food and conversation and clothes, and we're always kind of trying to do a little bit. And Venus is about go get a massage, go sip tea with a friend and sit on the side of the river. Go in our society, be irresponsible, but it's not. You're being extremely responsive to why you're here in human form. And being here in human form is so challenging so much of the time that if we don't take that day to just enjoy the beauty and the glitz and the fun and the joie de vivre, then all the other days can start to feel like heavy and filled with work. So, like I said, sun, we've got all the different meanings behind the different planets, how the air moves, how the emotional, the regulation of the system. So if we talk about Venus is cooling, it's receptive, it governs your rejuvenation, pleasures in breath. So when we think of breathing exercises, if we were to do cosmic 3, that would not be very Venetian. Breath of fire, that would not be very Venetian. Can you think of a particular breath practice that we've done that you could say, oh, that sounds like it could be soft, that soft and gentle? Denise, you probably are more aware of the different practices that we've done, but a couple immediately come to mind for me. Anybody?
I would say the Amrita breath.
Rachel breath would be great. And I don't know that I've done that a lot with y'all here. What else? I'm gonna come back to the sharing because I'm gonna show you another document in a second. But
I don't remember
any
what
other
it's
breath
called, but
practices?
it's inhale, mouth, it's like a that one alternate.
That's Sukha Shunya.
Yeah, Sukashinya.
Okay. Yeah, that could be more fire. And I would maybe do that one softer. That's a perfect example. So Sukha Shunya, welcome, Sizzle. Do you have baby Rosie here? Ah, there she is. Yay. All right, we're talking about prana and planets. And I'll pull your chart back or up in the backdrop so that as we're flipping through charts, I can bring you in. We popped right in specifically to Venus and talking about Venus breathing tools are that regulating joy, regulating the balance of beauty, kindness, softness, rejuvenation, pleasure. So Franny brought up Sukha, and Sukha could be more Mars and Sun if you do it more rapidly. But anything that you would do when you're pregnant or on your moon cycle would be connected to Venetian breath practices. And Sukha could be done very, very softly if you were doing it in a see how luscious and deep and gentle versus I've used that for people with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, neurological disconnections, and you would do it a little bit more rapidly. Because you have to stay engaged and very strong. Or Mars energy, if you were fired up, or if you were frustrated, if you felt super foggy, you could even go faster. I mean, and you really get engaged in that, but I would never do that if you were looking for a cooling breath. So I'm glad you brought that up, Franny. Prana, go
When
ahead.
you say regulate, you said regulate joy and moon cycle. I mean, to me, it makes me think of the one where we do the alternate nostrils because it kind of relaxes my brain and allows me to just be in a state of receiving. Or like
Yes.
just the
And I think just
breath.
like what Franny, I think it'd be similar because you can do that really fast and that can be more activating. We want the practices for Venus to be cooling the body. And anytime you're elevating the heat, you're creating more passion or intensity or drive. And Venus is not about drive. Venus is when Venus is connected to Mars, like when Mars comes through where Venus is, you'll feel very invigorated, very passionate. And it can be passionate on, oh, I have this new thing I got to get out in the world, or it can be passionate with a lover, or it can be passionate with yourself and you're just enjoying the fruits and the colors and And again, Mars activates the passion in Venus. Venus by itself is cool, calm, collected, just wants to kind of almost be the martyr. It can go almost to an extreme. Franny, your eyes are making me think you've got a question. You're processing. I can see it. No? Okay. All right. Sizzle, I'm popping up your chart in the backdrop. Are you picking up what we're laying down so far? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay. And let's get your chart open. And Sizzle, you're under Miller, I think. Yes. I still hello, Rosie. But we don't need to teach her prana practices at this point in time. So I'm going to share charts again, just so you can see the different charts, and then we'll come back to the practice. Here is Sizzle's chart. Okay, so back to what are you noticing about Sizzle's chart versus Jennifer's or Josephina's? Do you see that major difference? What's she going to feel in life more likely versus you just look at how things line up. That's fascinating. Do you get a snapshot overview? Anybody want to jump in? Look at Franny's. Look at Sizzle's. Look at Jennifer's. Where did Josephina's just go? And Josephina's. Snapshot overview. What are you seeing?
Can you go back to Sizzle and Franny?
Yep. Franny. Oops. Sorry. There's Franny. There's Sizzle. If you have the moon dancing around every 2.5 days, how will that feel? If you have Saturn going every 2.5 years, scrubbing forward, scrubbing back, how will that feel? Look at the now chart again. We cast a now chart from where I am, for those of you who came in later in Florida.
What about John? Can you do his?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So when I look, I mean, you're asking us to say what we see.
What do you see?
So between like Franny and Sizzle, they seem like there's a lot going on at the bottom of the screen. Like I don't know if that means anything. And then when you went to John, it seems really more up at the top.
Okay, so that would be definitely, you're going to see things happen in the beginning of somebody's life versus things that go on more differently where they might have more transitions at the end. That's one absolute yes. I want to go back to something that I spoke of earlier 20 minutes ago when I said, when the moon dances around, how is this person going to feel with the moon? And how is that person going to feel with the moon? What will it feel like it's going off in their life that's absolutely opposite, different? Keyword was stellium. Anybody who has a stellium of planets is going to feel like once that moon hits in, boom, 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 boom. It's like there's so much going on. You already have all these different players in a particular room versus somebody like a Franny where it's going to feel like it's almost nonstop. There's almost always something going on. And then she'll have this moment of reprieve. And same thing with Sizzle. There's almost always something going on. Versus Jennifer, again, little speckles of things here, but then all of a sudden we've got pow, 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 pow. And then there's this moment, because then the moment is her 12th house. So there's endings there. So you take that person or yourself into consideration when, how do I know what breath work to do? Does somebody feel like there's just always something going on? Or does somebody feel like, hey, the moment I get my act, all the you would be able to see that in the chart. Yes, because you have longer pockets of time between planetary influences, or you have continuous disruption, a couple houses in a row, and then all of a sudden you're going to get a moment of rest. And so when you see their patterns, then when you find your patterns, then again, you can use the different prana practices back to Venetian, back to Martian, back to solar. Do I want to calm or stimulate? Do I need to prepare myself for the next hurricane? Or am I in between gigs and I can't feel like I can get anything done because I don't have enough planetary action happening right now? We can get lost in what is going on or not going on in our life without recognizing the bigger picture of then it's not your time. That's why I said procrastination and not avoidance, but when you don't want to do something, generally it's because it's not in alignment yet with you. You don't have all the information and the seeding isn't quite right. And you could beat yourself up, or you could say, what could I do instead with this energy? What is it that I need to do? Did you see all of that now? Kind of when I pulled that out, the differences of how things could hit you and how you feel personally. So when you're noticing, okay, what planet do I want to work with? First things are you identify dominant planets, dominant grahas, or afflicted houses that are related to your first house, that's your identity. Your third house, that's how you're going out into the world and dealing with education, siblings, things that we feel competitiveness. Fourth house, because that's lungs, chest cavity. We get into the sixth house. Sixth house is how we are being in service in our reproductive system. Our eighth house is our nervous system. And our 12th house is how we're being forced to let go of things, or if we're being put into confinement. Confinement could be all of a sudden I got transferred with this job and I'm not working with the same people. All of a sudden my spouse went off to go do this and I feel like I'm stuck by myself. All of a sudden I had too many unpaid parking tickets and I spent a night in a goofy county jail. Like it's all of a sudden, again, it's a finalization to the eighth house, which is sudden and shocking events. And this is now things that all of a sudden kind of are lost or go away or they're hidden behind you. When we're looking at those different houses, and I get into more of that in the 21-day program, where I specifically talk about how to look at a specific person's chart. First, third, fourth, sixth, eighth, and 12th are the predominant houses where you're going to see breathing situations or remedies available. And you're looking for a pattern. Are you over breathing? Are you shallow breathing? Are you holding? Is it erratic? Do you feel blocked? And when I know that, then I can go into the different house and see what planetary action is happening during that time. If you have an overactive Sun or Mars, you're going to want cooling breaths. So you're going to want longer exhales. If you have a weak Saturn or Moon, you want something that's more grounding, stabilizing, slow, consistent. If you have like a Rahu disturbance, that's that trickster, everything is magnified and amplified. You would want something more coherent or a counted breath. That might be where the Sukha Shunya could come in a moderate way, because you have to focus on the how many breaths have I done? You're counting, or that breath where we're doing the 4-part hold and you're looking at the clock as it's going down. Something that takes you out of your body into, or out of your mind and into your body with the breath would be a great for a Rahu disturbance. I'll bring in mantra at another time, but that again is a favorite go-to. But when we start to connect with the breath, we bring it into mantra, and then Amrita breath, and that would be a kriya in addition to just doing the breath, because you're bringing in that physical presence. And that would be back to a Venetian breath. It's soft, it's gentle, it's sweet. So specifically Venus, we would look for I'm going to put this in a chat for you all so you can see it if you want to copy it. Stop share for a second. They call it the somatic practices because soma is the nectar that the gods would drink so that they would remember who they were when they would go into battle, when they would go into facing their demons. And so when you're working with the energy of Venus, that's again, it's the softening, it's the soothing side, somatic, it's a cooling flow. You've done an intense sun salutation, And maybe you've done a gentle willowing movement, almost Tai Chi sort of, and one invigorates energy and one cools. The houses that Venus will represent naturally are the 2nd and the 12th. And the expression would be creativity, sensuality, balancing breath, anything that's rhythmic with a heart awareness. Holding the lotus mudra, breathing in through the lips like you were sipping a straw, exhaling through the nose. Or with Amrita, you actually can move the hands and lip pressing the thumbs and pinky together. And then we use the hands. I love to use that mudra and that movement when I feel like I'm setting an intention of something that's just lovely and gentle. And I pretend like the magic fairies are all putting their pixie dust on me as it sparkles down. So that's kind of, again, your own envisionment of what it is that you're creating. If we feel stuck on an idea, how's this party going to work out this you show up? What if my conversation with my mother goes sideways? You come back into that Venetian Shukra, soft, gentle goddess sensitivity. And as you do a cooling breath, as you connect with how you speak and what you don't see behind you, that's why it's representation of those two houses. Second house is our communication style, and 12th house is our blind spot. So Venus comes in and wants to make sure that there is no blind spot. It wants to take care of everybody. But the best way to do that is to be sensual, to be receptive, to be creative. Let's do 2 practices. Prana Apana, I think, would be another one. And we're going to just spend 2 minutes doing each of them. And then I'm going to ask for your feedback, and then I will let you all move back into your Friday. So Prana Apana, you put your hands in Pran Mudra. Inhale, roll the palms up. Thumb is pressed onto the ring finger and the pinky. Exhale, switch the mudra so that the thumb touches the 2 middle fingers. Index finger and pinky finger are extended, and you roll it down. So we're connecting with the Vayus. Prana Vayu, what we're taking in. Apana Vayu, what we're detoxing from. Another cool thing about this mudra is this is called a detox mudra. And if you've ever felt your throat hurting, your gut hurting, your heart hurting, you hold this detox mudra, and literally whatever spot on your body is ailing you, and you picture it being like a magnet and pulling it out. I don't know what's weirder, how well it works, or the fact that we don't do it. So inhale, roll the fingers up through the nose. Exhale, thumb touches the 2 middle fingers, roll the hands down. Here we go. Close your eyes, all through the nose. Inhale, roll up in Pran Mudra. Breathing through the nose. Exhale, Apana Mudra. Inhale, Prana Mudra. Very slow, very gentle. Just see what's opening up. And then when you're exhaling, see what it is that gets to release, dissolve, so that you have room for what feels good. Stay with it. Staying with the breath, watching the hands roll up, roll down. Softening, harmonizing. Notice the diaphragm, the cooling elements. Picture a pearlish, soft pink, almost like a billowing silk scarf through the wind. And on your next exhales, the hands raised. Connecting with Venetian qualities. Gentle, sweet, kind. And then setting an intention of how can you bring more beauty to the world today, this weekend? How can you bring more beauty? Whether it's you radiating a smile, whether it's you wearing something that makes you feel divine, how can you radiate more beauty? As you set that intention with your mind and you feel that softness through your eyes and cheeks, fluttering your eyes open, looking down at your own hands and feet first, and coming back into the space. I'm going to share with you a fun little diagram, and I think I have this in the 21 day as a document, and if not, I will put it in there. But cool little PDF that is a great snapshot of how we can quickly connect with each of the planets. Don't need you to memorize it at all. And you can have access to this at another time. Just showing you how easy it is to connect with courage in action, or clarity in your nervous flow, or your expansion and your wisdom, the harmony and the creativity, the grounding and the patience, the overthinking, the restlessness. When we connect consciously with our breath and we see what's going on our chart, or we just simply feel what's going on in our chart, you will start to notice where your breath is flowing in more ease, where it gets stuck, and then you're communicating in an energetic vortex with that planet to say, all right, you got my attention, you've grabbed me, what do you want? How can I support you? And we have access to that through the breath instantly. Instantly. So that is your prana Vedic connection to Venus with an overview snapshot of others. And if anybody has questions, pop on. Sizzle, just say hi, something so we can hear little baby girl.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Rosie. So fun to see the photos you guys put up on Facebook. Oh my gosh, and the concerts you take her to, and she's just such a little. And Rosie does mudras. Like since she was born,
Mhm.
you'll see her doing
Mhm.
all these different mudras. It's been so fun. Sizzle would snapshot photos when she's asleep, and
Lately, she's been doing like breath of fire. It's like, well, but she learned how to like smell a flower, you know? So now when she sees a flower in a book, she'll be like, but it's like breath of fire. I'm like, no, we don't need to any more of that, you know? Bring it down.
ground. Fun.
Yeah.
So happy to see you here. Anybody
Thank
else want to pop on? John, any pop? I mean, I threw a lot at you. You've come to like 2 astrology classes.
I appreciated the learning about the mudras and the breath work. That was fascinating. So thank you very much for the invite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we do your next one-on-one, I can give you a quick snapshot of what might be beneficial if you're interested in that. And again, when you get time, go into the 21-day Vedic prana, but you're not automatically let in unless you ask me when you're in membership. Otherwise, they were the paid ones, and you get to go in. I just want to know that you're interested. Anything else? What was your takeaway? Anything? See y'all later.
I feel
All
really good.
right.
Yeah.
Bye.